Hi and welcome to Herman's RV Holidays. I'm Ads, and today in this video I thought it would be a great idea to show you how I do my editing. I do all my editing on a 2009 MacBook running iMovie 11, and this isn't going to be a video on how to edit using iMovie, but rather tips and tricks on how to do your editing. Overall, the most important part of your video is the story itself. Now, your story could be how you travel from A to B, or it could be the time you visit a beach, or it could be simply you doing the shopping. A story is made up of three things, three very important things. That's the beginning, the middle, and the end. In the beginning, you could have your commentary, your introduction to the video. It could be a simple sign on a wall, or as simple as a title. The middle, well, this is your content. This is your story unfolding as the video progresses. And the ending would be where you would sign off saying goodbye and doing what you're going to be doing when the camera is turned off. Editing all starts when you have that camera in your hand and you're pointing at something. I tend to be thinking constantly of my next shot and what the previous shot was. And if I think there was something missing, something that I can probably glue the two shots together, then I'll take that as well. What I also do is take shots of things that I might be able to slip into the main content of the video. I think the correct term of that is B-roll. So you can take pictures of cars going by, signposts, flowers, just another shot of the scenery, that kind of thing. And it's interesting to note that when you're watching the news, you see it all the time. The commentary of the news article could be rolling along, telling you what's gone wrong, what's happening. And the shots that they show you, if you study them, you'll see there'll be like a lamp post there, or there'll be a sign, or some railings, or the odd bush here or there, or cars going by. All very boring stuff, but it kind of all fits in with what the story that they're trying to tell you. When doing the actual editing on the computer, don't be afraid to cut stuff out. What you don't want to do is have really long shots and lose the pace of the video, and maybe even get sidetracked from the actual story itself. Another great tip is when you're kind of getting towards the end of editing your video and you think it's complete, ask someone to watch it with you. Judge their reactions and listen to their comments, and maybe actually tweak it to what their suggestions are. So this is iMovie. Just show you what version I'm running here. Version 11, 909. Now, at the top of the screen, we have all of my projects, the past projects. These are the actual videos that I've edited and get published to YouTube. Now, down on the bottom part of the screen, we have the event library. Now, this is the raw video footage of the day. So I kind of number them based on what day it is, not date, but just the day. Give it some sort of indication of what kind of video group of videos they are, such as this is Brittany. And some sort of description to tell me what it was I was actually recording on the day. We're looking at the one with the lighthouse, and you can see on the right hand side all of my video shown in like long strips. This is one of the things I really do like about iMovie, and I think other video software should actually pay attention and do this as well. And it is the fact that I can see the whole clip. I don't have to rename every clip to tell me what that piece of video is for. A lot of the video software that you can buy, you only see it like this, where you just have one thumbnail. You can't really skim through it, and it's quite it's not very useful, I find. And the only way of making it useful is by renaming each one of these clips to describe what it is that you've recorded, and I think it's just a waste of time. Now with iMovie, I can change the length of these thumbnails, I suppose you could call them, and basically see straight away what this video is actually telling me. And you might even jog a memory, so oh yeah, I remember that bit. This is the bit I did my commentary on. At the top of the screen here, we have the video viewer. Of course, this is very common to all video software, and this is where the video gets played. In iMovie, I can actually make that bigger or smaller by dragging the bar in the middle, or you can do a shortcut key, which is this is 0, Command 0, Command 9, or Command 8 to make it really small, and depending on what kind of thing you want to see, which is more important to you. I can make these panels disappear. This one here, the event library, I can make that go. And I can also switch them round. Now that might be useful. For instance, if I actually go into the video itself, this is my edit now. So you can see that we start with our introduction. And then we start with the actual film itself. One other thing you can do with iMovie is to click that button there, and you, rather than getting a kind of well, it just changes the format, I suppose. So you can see it on one level rather than filling up the whole screen. That might be interesting if you need a bit more room. And the other thing that I can do if I really wanted to is I can click this button down here, and I can see the actual audio wave. That's useful if you actually want to line up some audio with other audio, maybe adding a sound effect or something. Right, so editing a new video. First of all, I need to create a new project, and I give it a kind of standardized project name. So here we're going to have 10, because I think it's my 10th Brittany video. And there's Brittany, and I think we were just going to kind of give it the same name as the event itself. So it's Morlaix. Now I tend not to select a project theme simply because I think it's a bit of a distraction, and it's more just flashy nonsense to me anyway. I like to give my own story across rather than have some flashy graphics in there. Frame rate I always keep as 30 frames a second. This is American NTC. In the UK we are in PAL, but that doesn't really matter anymore. Our televisions are run at different frequencies, and it's going to be uploaded to YouTube anyway, so it really doesn't matter. So all I'm going to do is hit create. Alright, so there's my project. Now I need to select my event. There's Morlaix. Get rid of that. Now the first thing you'll notice is I've got 20 minutes of total video down here, and it if I look through, this is stretched out to 10 seconds. So let's just short that down. Now we're looking at 30 seconds. Now I haven't looked through this video, but I'm just kind of getting an idea of what it is that I filmed, because I can just about remember. This is recorded in September, it's now December, so it is really ideal to go through, watch or even skim through the video, and just to kind of get that picture back in your head of the story that you were trying to portray at the time. Another great thing that iMovie does is it allows you to rate your video. So this is my favorite tool, and this is kind of unmark, and this is reject tool. I tend to use this favorite tool most of the time, and I'll go through and I'll start playing a video, the clip, and figuring out what it is we're doing here, and mark that if I want to as a favorite part that I'm going to put in my new video. So that sounds like my introduction, and I should probably highlight the whole thing. What does it? How does it end?
Here, I hope.
So we go into the map there, but then we go straight into the map anyway.
Okay, so just a point of reference. There is Roscoff.
So I'm going to want probably both of these. I don't think at this point here.
Donking noise. You can
a
hear
really
loud drip.
I'm talking about a drip there. Not too sure why I kind of mentioned the drip, because I noticed later on I actually start recording the drip. But now I'm thinking that sounds really boring, so I might not put that in. But of course, it's in the back of my head that it isn't there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this. Probably won't need that bit. And this is basically a rough cut of the edit, to be quite honest. In fact, let's highlight the whole thing. There you go. And in here, I'm just going to skim through it. We're talking about Morlaix. Now, interestingly, I got the kind of same thing down on the bottom here. I noticed. I can't remember why I recorded it twice. Maybe I forgot that I did it in the morning. But anyway, we'll take a look at that. So I'm going to go through now and highlight the bits that I feel like I'm going to be using in my video. What's this bit though?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing that. Hopefully the weather is going to stop raining just long enough for us to get out and stretch our legs.
Right, so I kind of I got an idea there. So when I stop there,
hopefully the weather is going to stop raining just long enough for us to get out and stretch our legs.
Right, so I think my edit might be cut it there to this part. I remember recording this.
As you can see, we are in...
Maybe not.
It's still raining, and we have now arrived at Hulgoat.
So what I was trying to think about that there is when I say it's hopefully going to stop raining, we cut to Hulgoat itself, and it's still chucking it down with rain. Might be interesting, don't know. We'll play with the edit later on. Anyway, I'm going to go through and highlight all my favourite parts of these videos, and we'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've finished with the rating of my video. As you can see, I've got these green lines all over the place to depict the bits that I'm most interested in. Notice I'm not selecting the entire clip. So this bit here, for instance, is just us getting together, talking about nothing, and then I kind of start talking about there.
We have found...
as you can see, right? So the next, what I can do now is go down here and click on favorites only, and it's gone from 20 minutes to almost 13 minutes. Now that tells me that my video is going to probably be around half that normally, around probably 6 or 7 minutes long, maybe a bit less than that. And looking through the video, there's obviously not very many long bits. Now my next step, what I tend to do is choose my music. Now what I did in the past was start my editing and then get my music when I'm kind of halfway through my editing, and then put the music to it. But I've kind of changed that around recently. The last probably 5 or 6 videos, I get my music. So now I've looked at my video, I kind of have some sort of feeling for the pace, for the kind of atmosphere in the video, and now I can kind of judge what kind of music I'm interested in. Now where I get my music from, 2 places. Either the YouTube audio library. Now this is pretty cool because all the content here is free to use, and if it has this symbol here, that means you actually have to credit the person in the description of your video. If it doesn't, you don't need to do any of that at all. Across the top here you have, this is your filtering system, so you could have, say, mood, and you say, well, I'm interested in bright music, and then I click on one of these. Yeah, Jingle Punks are pretty good at their music. Bit of bright, nice and happy. Of course, you can add do a search for music. Say, I don't know, let's type in holiday. Hip hop Christmas. So anyway, you can see how that works out. That's pretty easy to use. He also has sound effects if you want to go there as well. But I've started using, this year at least anyway, SoundCloud. Now this has many artists. It's got nothing to do with YouTube at all. Some artists want you to pay for their music. Some want you to. Some of it is not free to put in your videos. Now what I tend to do is go to the search bar here and type in vlog, and you get this channel here called Free Music for Vlogs. Click on there. And you should get a whole list of playlists that they have. So there's one called Happy Music, Casey Neistat Music. He's quite famous for. He's quite a famous YouTuber, which has some really good music in. Or there's travel vlog music. I kind of ignore this free download stuff. I tend to go directly to the actual author of the music and download it from there and see what they say about their music. So for instance, the one I've chosen is actually Enjoy by Joachim Korud, and if you go down here in his on his channel for his music, you say he has a link here that says use my music in your YouTube videos. You go there and it actually tells you what he wants to do, what he wants you to do, so that you can use his music. And it's just basically just to credit him normally. So let's just have a quick listen to the music.
Show them you know them with a perfect gift from Boots this Christmas.
Or get an advert.
From your choice store when you order by 8 p.m. with gifts included in boots.com for details.
Right, thanks Boots. So hopefully I've got the idea that that is going to fit in with my video. Or if I start struggling with the video and trying to get it to fit to the music, then I will reassess and download something else and use something else. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just going to copy that link there and paste it to this document that I have. So I'm just going to paste it straight in. So this is my list of all my licensing. So when I'm doing my next video, I'll add the music to the bottom of the description, so that I'm not going to forget to credit them for it. So I downloaded the video, and now what I'll do is I rename it. So I have some idea of who the author was of the music. And I'm going to drop that into my SoundCloud folder. There you go. And Enjoy is just there. So all I need to do now is start editing my video, put something on the video line, and add the music. There's two really cool editing tools in iMovie, and that is this one here, which is the arrow, and then there's this one here, which is it's an edit tool. But what you do is you select one of them, and then you can just click anywhere on your raw video, just one click, and I've just selected a whole bunch of seconds, a whole bunch of frames. Now you can change that to go to Preferences. And then go to Browser, and it says down here, clicking in the event browser selects 2.5 seconds. So let's change that to 3 seconds. So now when I click, I've grabbed in 3 seconds, and I can drag that up there. So that's now a 3-second clip. If I hover over it, it tells me 3 seconds. Now the other tool, the edit tool, is... I love this tool because it makes things so much quicker. And when you're making lots of videos, you want to do something really quickly. So for instance, let's take a look at this shot here. This is just a signpost. It's all the same thing, and I can just go click, done, 3 seconds. This one over here, This is of Herman, and there's a kind of a movement to the water there, but this one isn't, is it? No, so I can just grab that one. There you go, done. If I fancy a bit of a bit more manipulative, I can click and drag. You can see the seconds moving up there. That's 7 seconds. Let go. Done. None of this in and out stuff which you get with Premiere and all the other video editing software. Now, of course, I could go back to the arrow tool and do it a bit more refined, so I can, say, for instance, grab that. It's almost 12 seconds. And we have a special key for playing back little sections of video on the in iMovie. It's the slash key.
It is the morning of Friday, the 29th of September, and it's been raining all night.
Great. So that's the clip I want, actually, and I think I might tune it up a bit more. So now I am putting my inputs and my in and outs of the video, which is what other software do.
It is the morning of Friday, the 29th of September, and it's been raining all night.
Great. So now this key, this tool here has a shortcut key of E. So I tend to either click that or just press my E key. There you go, done. That's my introduction. So I kind of want to delete all of these because that was just me showing you how to use those tools. So that's my first shot of my video. This is where I might continue my introduction. So let's just press that.
But yesterday I didn't explain.
Right, need to put me in. About there.
But yesterday I didn't explain where exactly we were, so I've got the map in front of me, and you can see here, I hope.
Right, so what is the next shot?
Okay, so just a point of reference.
Right. So we need to cut it probably about there.
You can see here,
Press my E key, and then that should be a nice, I hope, edit.
but yesterday I didn't explain where.
That wasn't intentional. Looks.
But yesterday I didn't explain where exactly we were, so I've got the map in front of me,
and my next one is gonna probably be. About there, probably.
So just a point of reference, there is Roscoff.
Are we going to have the whole thing? I think we probably will. Right, let's get that there. So we don't want Zoe saying that bit.
Nice.
And then we're just going to add that to that because the next bit is what I said.
So we're going to be doing that. Hopefully the weather is...
Okay, so before I add my music, there's one more shot that I recorded around about here, yeah, of Herman. I'm going to grab a whole chunk of that, something like that possibly, and I'm going to drag that onto the timeline in between there. Now, where's my music? I just need to grab Enjoy, the sound, the music I'm going to add. This is the way you do it on the Apple Mac. And I think I want my music to start about here. Okay, so there we have it. Now, what I'm gonna do now is actually switch them back, switch them over. Oh, that is so slow. Because I'm recording this, I'm getting drop frames and the video is very slow and everything. So now this piece I want muted. Yeah, mute clip. Now I'm a shortcut kind of guy, so I would remember this shortcut here. It's Shift, Command, and M. Or just press that, and that's now muted. So the music isn't muted; it's just that clip that is muted. So we can go from here.
Stretch our legs. It's still raining, and we are.
Right. So a couple of things. I think I want the music to start before the clip arrives, and I want, when I'm doing a bit of commentary here, I don't want the music so loud. So let's move the clip of the music over to just after I stop talking in this shot.
Out and stretch our legs.
Or that would be even better if I start the music of that beat, that boof, started when the shot changed. Right, so let's do that first. Let's there's a really cool thing called beat marking in iMovie. Now, what you do is you go to clip. Well, you've got this little symbol here, this little menu basically in iMovie. You go to clip trimmer. Is it clip trimmer? Yes, it's clip trimmer. Now, I'll switch these over again. And I'm going to make this a bit wider. So this area here is the music up to the end of my video. And that's of course the very end of the music track. What we can do is I can just press space and listen to it. Now, what I want to do is actually mark on the timeline here where the beats are. And we have this key, I think you can show it from here, add beat marker. It doesn't actually tell you the shortcut. Oh, okay. Well, the shortcut is actually M. So, for instance, I think that must be where the symbol comes in, or the beat comes in. Yeah, so I can move that cursor just there and hit M. Right, and now I've got this line, this thin line, and you should just about see it next to the 35 seconds business where my cursor is. Okay, so now I can move this across a bit more until the line, using the cursor keys now, line is right at the beginning. Let's watch that now. Yes. Brilliant. Now, while I'm here, I might as well do the rest of this track. So what does that mean is playing the music and hitting my M when I think there's a beat. So I can see where the beats are throughout the music. This might take a bit of time. So anyway, here goes.
It's still raining, and we have now arrived at Cutaways. This is the lake that.
Okay, so I've done the whole track now. Now, of course, whatever software you use may or may not have these beat marker things. You may also even have one that does it automatically, so you just hit a button and off it goes. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to stop this.
This is the lake that.
So the music is too loud over my commentary, so we need to change that. I'm gonna go into the menu here, go to clip adjustments, I think it is. No, it's audio. Or I can press, the hotkey for that is A. Now there's this little thing called ducking here, a little tick box. And I normally tick that and reduce it down to about 10%. So this is the audio volume of any other track, any other audio track playing underneath this track, if you see what I mean. So if I do that, now we listen.
It's still raining.
There you go.
And we have now.
So the volume of every other track automatically lowers. which is awesome. On some software, you've got to do it manually. You've got to put in points of fade in and fade out, and it's just a big faff, if you ask me. But anyway, that's basically audio. Okay, so I'll lay down a few more shots here, but I'm not exactly happy with the pacing. So pacing of a video is very important. If it's not fast enough, the pace isn't fast enough, I find that the viewer, including myself, will kind of get diverted and start looking at something else or just nod off. So when I watch the video back over to myself, I'm always thinking about whether or not I'm getting sidetracked or my attention is going elsewhere. Is the video capturing me? So what I might tend to do is go back through and shorten some of those longer shots. Maybe cut some, a half a second out here and there, or maybe a good few seconds. A half a second on a number of shots can make a huge difference. So the first one I'm interested in is actually this one here. If you just watch that.
We're going to be doing that. Hopefully the weather is going to stop raining just long enough for us to get out and stretch our legs.
Okay, so I think the beginning part I don't really need.
We're going to be doing that. Hopefully the weather.
So I'm going to cut off the hopefully bit, the bit before hopefully rather. And I've got a really special tool to do that. I've got a number of tools actually. Let's try this one. So, I can either shrink it down like this, increase my. That's it. I can see more of the shot now. And I press my. Selected my start, as it were, and I can now press my slash key.
Hopefully the.
No, it's still not right. Right, that's just before I'm going to say hopefully, I think.
Hopefully the weather is.
Yep, that's great. So now I can just, if I trim to selection, that will shorten my shot down.
Hopefully the weather is going to stop raining just long enough for us to get out and stretch our legs.
But I also want to extend that bit, so the end, so that the music doesn't come in so soon. So let's just undo that a second. Right, so it's now back to 9.5 minutes, and I can. There's another way of editing my shot. Go to clip trimmer, and this is the clip that I'm interested in amongst the whole raw footage, and I can just move that over slightly. And then what does the end look like? So I'm nodding for a little bit longer.
Be doing that. Hopefully.
And I can just trim it up to there.
Hopefully.
Now I can get rid of me. There, I think.
Hopefully the weather is.
So I've managed to move the shot along a little bit, so I've got a bit more. In fact, I might just grab a bit more of that. And that should be a bit better now, I think.
Hopefully the weather is going to stop raining just long enough for us to get out and stretch our legs.
Great. Now the next bit I wanted to do is the actual bit of Herman here. This shot is just over 6 seconds, which is far too long to just do a pan. Too long. So I don't want to cut anything out of it really, but so what I'm going to do with this clip here is I'm going to bring up the details about that by pressing the I key, and I'm going to increase the speed so I can either drag this scale bar across, which says it makes it 200% and 3 seconds. In fact, that might be enough. I was thinking of 4 seconds.
Hopefully.
That might be enough. But alternatively, I could have put it in the other way around. I could have put 4 seconds in. And now have a look. Yeah, I think I like the 3 seconds actually. So let's just undo that. And that should be good to go. Right, so what that's done though, in iMovie, very interestingly, it's got this little notch here of the soundtrack. So what that's actually done, because this is attached to this image, this clip, it's affected where the soundtrack is starting. So let's just take a look at the end. Is it? Yeah, so it's right at the end there. So if I drag that over there a bit like that, so the end is shorter. I need to get this line. Remember this line from earlier? I need to get that over to here, because now shrinking this shot has moved my music over to the left.
Just long enough for us to get out.
Yeah, so that's completely not what I want. So I'm just moving it over until. Now, notice that the little tag now is on here. That means that every movement of the video to from this point onwards is not going to be affected. Because the anchor point, I suppose you could call it, is on this image, this video clip here. So there you go. Ooh, if I select it, actually, I can fine tune it by using the cursor keys. There you go. So now we should be.
I can stretch our legs. It's still raining.
So I also noticed that this beat marker here is actually just a few frames short of this clip. If I can get that all the way over to here, then it might improve my video a little bit more, because the shot will change to the beat of the music. So what I can do is I can do a number of things, but I'll just click on this little button here, which is another awesome tool, and I could just move it to the left a bit more. A bit. No, a little bit more, maybe another 3, 4, 3, 2. No. So I'm just using it a frame at a time. The whole thing is a second, so it's 30 frames. But we don't want to do a second, we just want to do, I think it might be just one now. Right, so you might not even notice any difference, but let's see what that.
Stretch our legs. It's still raining, and we are.
But because of the music drops down a bit, the volume decreases. We don't really notice it, but that's great though. It's keeping the pace moving. You don't really want long shots, or you don't want gaps where no one is saying anything. In fact, this shot here is probably a bit too long as well, I think.
You can see that I'm using Brolly Cam here.
There's an
But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this.
Right, let's see what we can do about getting rid of the Now, a different key here. Now, if I move my cursor and I right click, I've got split clip, or I've got a key combination which I know. It's Shift, Command and S. Split my clip now.
But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this all day. But
so what do I end on over here?
In Brolly Cam here.
Right, so I'm talking about Brolly Cam, and here.
But let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes.
A bit further there.
But let's see how.
Yeah, so about there, I think. Now I'm going to do a split again. And this 6-second chunk, yoink, it's gone. Let's just play that through.
You can see that I'm using Brolly Cam here. But let's see how it goes. I just got drips on.
Does that fit? I don't know. Let's just watch that
again.
Like
I said, this is not going to be a day of filming, I don't think. Obviously, you can see that I'm using Brolly Cam here. But let's see how it goes. I just got drips on. So that's impressive. Just look at that.
Yeah, so that kind of works, I think. That is a jump shot, a jump cut rather, and I can show you that a little bit later, a bit more of that happening on another video. Okay, with my next shot that I'm interested in shortening is this one.
The other side.
So I'm not talking at all in there really, other than saying the other side. But I want that still, but I don't want it to be 7.5 seconds. So
It's the other side.
So I say it at the beginning, but my video at the moment is still in the middle of a pan. In fact, I want to start the pan probably there. Okay, so 2 things. I'm going to shorten the clip, but I'm going to put the audio on this part. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So where do we say... Where do we swap?
It's the other side.
Right, so there. So let's take that away. Or rather, clip that. There's my audio is here.
It's the other side.
And now this is... I want to start... Notice that my audio was 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And we're going to have our clip start there. So we're going to just take the first second off of that. Is that what we're after? I could probably shorten that down a bit more actually. Something like that. Yep. Right, okay, so now I've got my clip. This is what I'm after, 3.5 seconds. That's probably a little bit too long, but we'll find out what we can do with that. So this is the audio that I want.
It's the other side.
But of course I don't want the video. So let's take a look at this. So I right click on there and I've said detach video, detach audio. Now the thing is, in other editing software you might not be able to do, or you'd be able to do it, but in a different way. So I can do, all I'm going to do is drag my audio over here. I don't need this guy anymore, so I'm going to delete this clip. And just play.
It's the other side.
Right, it goes a bit. The volume goes a bit weird there. That is because I've got that ducking on here. So if I switch the ducking on there and I mute, yeah, let's mute that. See what happens. And then on this, the ducking should still be on. Yeah, the ducking is still on. But of course, when I play it now,
it's the other side.
Yeah, so what I need to do is, hopefully I don't have any audio at the beginning. I'm just going to expand that out so it fits the whole clip.
It's the other side. And a local map.
Brilliant. Let's just watch it again.
The bridge.
Now we've got a bit of a fade happening there.
Under the bridge.
Notice the end of this clip is fading
under the bridge
because of this is causing it to fade. So there is a bug in iMovie where the audio messes up a bit, but I think this is not, and that's how I get rid of the bug. Kind of refreshes the audio, but I don't think I'm going to get rid of it this time.
Through to under the bridge.
No, so what I might just do, and this is why editing takes me ages. I'm very, very pedantic.
Under the bridge.
I think I might tidy that up another time.
And the local map is made out of tiles, well, it looks things. How can you read that? Oh, yeah, yeah, up there.
And these are the next 2 clips I want to take, edit down.
Yeah, this is where we were yesterday.
So I want
to. Yesterday. Yeah, this is where. Yeah, this is.
Just about there then. Cut that bit out.
Yeah, this is where we were yesterday.
And this 9.5
The local map is made out of tiles, well, it looks things. How can you read that? Oh, yeah, yeah, up there. Tiles, well, it looks things. How?
And I'm gonna cut it just before I say how. There, by the sound of things. So now, from a slightly negative point of view, viewing of that, saying, "Oh, how do you read this map?" La la la. It should sound a bit more positive.
And the local map is made out of tiles, well, it looks things. Yeah, this is where we were yesterday. The church.
Brilliant. Exactly what I want, I think. Of course, it might not be exactly what I want. And what I do is once I've finished my video, I'm happy with it, I will go back and watch it sometime, well, most of the time with Zoe, and we'll kind of look around and see if there's any mistakes or places where I can improve the edit. Something I'd like to show you again with the pacing. Now this is the lighthouse video. Now in my raw footage, this is my raw footage, and you can see that it's like almost 2 minutes long, and it's just simply me walking up the stairs. I am climbing up the inside of a lighthouse. Zoe is not with us because, well, she didn't fancy all these stairs. We're going to go to the top. Now, where are we? Now, I'm going to obviously mispronounce this, but to us it might be. Right, that's enough. So it's quite long, and there's you can see my orange line here. This is this means that this is the video, the clip that I've actually used. But I took out this piece. We're going to go to. Right, and a few other pieces where these gaps are. Now, why have I done that rather than having the whole shot? Because it's, that is 39 seconds long, and I use these elsewhere as well, I think. But this is what it really did look like. I won't play the first. This is just me walking up, but it keeps the audio going, and as a very pacey conversation, but it kind of jumps the shot. So. She didn't fancy all these stairs. We're going to go to the top. Now, where are we? Now, I'm going to obviously mispronounce this. To us, it might be Phare, Phare. So, there you go. They're called jump shots or jump cuts. And they are, it's quite a useful thing in YouTube, YouTube type videos. I don't think I've ever seen them on films or on the television or anything like that. I guess because they are all planned shots, whereas on a YouTube video they tend not to be, and it gets the pace going. It's a really good technique for keeping that pace up and not giving your audience a chance to nod off. The other thing that I would like to tell you about this lighthouse video, and it's really just me walking up and down the inside of a lighthouse. There's not much to see. Well, I suppose there's the outside to see, but at the top there's hardly anything there. So I really did think about just having many shots of me walking up and down the steps. And as you can see, there is quite a lot of different kind of walking. There's this one here. It's just my feet in the steps. There's this one here, which is me walking up. Yeah. And all I did for that one, if we actually go to the video, the raw footage, I just mounted the. In fact, you can see I mounted the camera on one of the window ledges up here. I think it was just I managed to mount it to the window itself. Because of my GoPro, it's kind of, you can basically put them anywhere. So all I've done here was I set the camera up and I walk up the steps. There's me setting the camera up, pressing record, and I walk up and down the stairs. So this is the clip I use. But later on, I think I use it again as I'm coming back down. And notice the clip is actually a minute long, but I've only used just a few seconds. So these are kind of the B-rolls again, just interesting little clips of something that is not. It's just going to kind of help with the video itself, to tell the story. A different shot every now and again to keep not just one shot all the time. That's me going down the stairs. Interesting, huh? Yeah, so that really does mean I walked up and down the stairs. Not the whole flight, not 100 or 300 steps or whatever it was, but I walked up and then I walk down and I refilm myself just doing the same thing. Yeah, and that's what you tend to do. You know, you might might have a shot where you walk past the camera, and then you stop and you turn around and you turn the camera around and you walk past the camera in the same direction again. So it makes it look like you've come in towards the camera and you've gone past it. We do lots of little things like that when Zoe and I go for walks. And sometimes she even pulls funny faces when I'm going to pick the camera up. So the next thing I would like to talk to you about is audio, especially with music. Now, when you're doing video editing, you're not just editing the clips, you also end up editing the audio. And of course, you know, the simplest thinking of that is adding music. But it could be as, you know, like I showed you earlier about moving a clip around the audio away from the video, or adding a sound effect at the right place. But in this case, I wanted to show you how I do various options on fitting many pieces of music together. Now, this clip I'm using here, this is from our Karamatsu Mur video, and this track here, Happiness by DJ Quads, is not long enough for my video. And there were certain places where I wanted to use the music part, like the beat, or in this, I'll show you what I mean in a second with this clip at the end, where, you know, it kind of doesn't fit. Some part of the video doesn't fit with the music, so you need to kind of fade the music or cut the music down and then slice it back in together again, which can be very difficult to do. In this case, what I discovered was in the music there was this clip, this part of the musical track, which has like a false ending. If you can hear it here. And then it starts again. Boom. But what I thought I'd do is, and it kind of was a happy accident almost, was that when I noticed when I was recording this, it was very silent in here, but I really wanted to discuss the things they had around, like this boat here, the ship. There are various ships, and I think it was a chapel to lost sailors or that kind of thing. Of course, everything is in French. I didn't know, but I found it very interesting. So that's why I just point to these things, just to say, look, there's a mobile, a ship, just hanging from the ceiling. But like I said, it was very quiet and I didn't want to actually say anything. But now I've got the music, it kind of makes sense to do this. So the music is kind of telling you all, let's stop the music, it's quiet, right? So that I like that bit, and hopefully you'd agree with me. But of course, I was trying to merge it with something that was happening up here. So the clip doesn't, the music track doesn't fit in on this side of it with the rest of my video. So I at some point had to splice it, and I decided to cut it here because all these other clips are muted. You see this little symbol here, these mean they're muted. So if I played it, it would this bit is me talking again here.
Whatever.
Right, but this clip here is also me talking. I'm actually using it straight out of the video. But I decided to put the edit of the music in this place, and you can see that I've got two tracks overlapping each other. Now they're not, if I mute this track, you can hear it for sure. So it's not brilliant. However, because I'm talking, this is going to be like not muted, and it's going to be quieter anyway. I'm going to add some ducking on here, so the music you'd hardly hear, and you hardly notice it. However, if it was a place where I would notice it, then what I can do is this. I don't think I did it in this, but we'll have a look. No, so this bit of the screen here tells me that the fade out I've set to manual and it's 0 seconds, and the fade in for this one is automatic. So I don't know what that means, but it does at the end fade out to at the end. So, but what you could do is fade in the very beginning part, say 2 seconds of that track, and then fade out for 2 seconds or so. Really depends on the music, I suppose. So now what happens is they both fade at the same time, and the music is even less noticeable, I hope. Right, so that sounds a lot better. And you don't hear the missing of the beat or the non-overlap. I mean, I could actually just go ahead and maneuver. I'm using my cursor keys to maneuver the soundtrack a bit more. One of the soundtracks, doesn't matter. My other option is to actually merge these two pieces of track together via the sound wave. Now let's turn on the sound wave. You'll see what I mean by that. So now I can actually see the up and down peaks of the music and all the other sounds. So that's the beginning of the track. So here we are. We're just talking about this bit here, this section here. So it might be a bit tricky because it fades in and out. So we'll change change that, and we'll change that. This is what we did earlier. And what we'll do might not be possible with this bit, but we'll make it a bit more lines, a bit more detail. Okay, so now I'm no expert in this, but you can see that the peaks probably don't match up exactly.
To be a shit.
Let's mute this guy. Let's mute this clip. Looking at these two sound waves, it looks like these two peaks here, this peak and this peak, look very similar to this peak. So we can try and match one up with the other just by dragging that. Okay, that looks... Let's see what that's like. Ooh, that sounds quite close, doesn't it? Yeah, I think that's it actually. Maybe a little bit more tweaking. Maybe move that across like that. One more frame. No one's going to notice that once you got this audio going as well, and do a bit of a fade, and they'll merge seamlessly. But however, if I switch that off and go back to the bit I was really liking, which is when I go shh, wherever that is. I think it's probably now moved. The end part of this is now moved. Let's have a listen. Yeah, so it's too close to. I really want it to go when I actually put my finger to my lips, up there. So it is way too. It's not right. At the end, what I'm trying to do is not right. So what you would probably do now is make some of these other clips shorter, or just go back to what we've done before with the fading, and hopefully nobody notices it. But anyway, that gives you an idea of how you would splice or shorten two similar tracks together. Alternatively, you can use a free program called Audacity, and this is available on Mac and PC. And it allows you to edit audio precisely, and you can actually add your voice as well as other instruments and all that kind of thing. You can overlay music, record it to a certain length, and then import that into your own editing video editing package. So it's pretty awesome, and I do use this not very often, but when I do have something very tricky, I will end up going to Audacity. That's just another alternative. Okay, so my next few clips are quite interesting. We have this where we're walking through the town here, the square, and then I cut to a closer shot of the church, and then that's basically it. We're on a different. We leave the Huel goats and we're on a walk here. So how do I put them together? Well, I've got an idea. So if I grab the whole of this.
Square.
No, the whole of this. There you go.
So this appears to be the main square. Lovely old church.
Okay, there's a few things I want to change in this, I think. So let's just add it to that. Now, that thing at the end where I say that's a lovely church.
Lovely old church.
What I'm thinking of doing is adding this shot on top. Now, limitation of iMovie is that you can only have 2 video tracks and a title track. You can't go anything more than that. So if I want a title, say on the bottom, and a title at the top, I can't do that. If I wanted to have the main track here and kind of a camera picture-in-picture shot here and a picture-in-picture shot over here, I can't do that. I can only have one at a time. 2 shots and a title. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab 2.5 seconds of the shot of the church, and I'm going to drop that on top of this shot. Now what that gives me is a menu. Now this menu is obviously this is not the same as any other editing software, but you can do it. You can do the same thing with other editing software, but in a different way. You'll have more than the 2 video tracks normally with other software. But I'm going to choose Cutaway. I normally use Cutaway or Picture-in-Picture, and sometimes audio only. But I'm going to have Cutaway. And all that means is that when we're going through this, going through the timeline, rather than the bottom video, this clip down here, it will show the top one, just like that. So if I mute this, and play.
Lovely old church.
So it's in the wrong place, but let's move it over.
Lovely old.
Yeah, let's move it over a bit more. I think it might even be up to the end.
Lovely old church.
Not quite exactly what I'm after.
Lovely old church.
Yeah, so what I might do then is edit the audio.
Appears to be the main square.
Yeah, so square, and we'll cut that there, I think. So now it's almost as if I don't really need this bottom track at all.
Lovely old church.
So I could leave it like that and trim it off here.
Lovely old church.
Like that. Get rid of that bit. Move that over a bit more. That's fine, I think.
Lovely old church.
And we can dispense with the end piece. And just make that a bit bigger like that. So now what we have is this.
So this appears to be the main square. Lovely old church.
Okay, great. So that looks pretty good. Now, my next clip is going to be me walking. So this bit here, let's just grab that and put that on the Now it's going to be a bit weird if I go from that to that.
Okay, so
Right, so that so what I would probably do here is have a transition, or I could, although I don't think this would work, I could take this clip, which is where we are, Rock Traverselle, and it might work, but also it does feel for me that it's actually, you get the feeling that it's part of the town that we were just in rather than where we are going next. So I mean, at this point here I would try different approaches, what actually makes more sense. I think the easiest thing to do would be to fade to black. Now the transitions, have got loads of transitions, and some of them are quite dazzling, and this one is a bit of a cube thing, and this one is like a puzzle kind of thing. But you know what? Just don't bother. Really, it's just a distraction. Use them as I use cross dissolve, maybe cross blur, and fade to black. That is all I use. Oh, sometimes I might do fade to white if I want to show some photographs. So the fade to white makes it look like a flash is going off, but it has to be really quick. But other than that, all this other stuff could be put in the bin. I really don't care about this other stuff. I mean, page kill, right? No, it's just all distracting. It's all distracting. You don't want any of it. You don't see it in movies. You might see it in the Y50, but you know. So now to do the fade, you see a green line. There you go. Now I know what's going to happen. In fact, it's doing it now. Well, first of all, it needs to be more than 4 seconds. Let's bring that up. 0.4 seconds, I mean. And we're going to set that to 2 seconds. Now, the thing is, because of this clip here, let's move it out of the way, move it along a bit. It won't fade, and that was why it was greyed out, but now it's all nice and bright and white. It will work. So it might not work, I don't know, but we'll see how that works. So if I move it back, it's going to mess things up a bit. So yeah, this is a limitation. Because of this track here at the top, it won't fade. Right. So what I would need to do is permanently have this down here and take the audio from this shot. But I can't just drag that. I need to actually go and grab that from the my raw footage again. So now I've placed the cutaway clip down on the actual timeline itself and added the audio from the other shot. And of course my fade is here still. So that now looks like this.
lovely old church.
You know what? I'd probably extend the fade even longer, but you get the idea. One thing I've just noticed is that when we jump from this clip to this clip,
This appears to be the main square. Lovely.
there's too much camera movement. It doesn't look right to me. So the camera's panning to the right, and then it pans back to the left. Then I start talking about the church at this point, and then we jump straight to there. So what I might do is, as long as I'm not talking, yeah, I will take that and trim it back until it stops moving. So I've taken a whole second away there.
Lovely old.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
To be the main square. Lovely old church.
A lot better. And of course that helps with pacing as well. So I'm going to end it there. I think I've shown you quite a few hints and tips on how I do my editing. If it was very useful, then give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell beside it, the notification. It'll get an email every time I make a video live or I live stream. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. And if you have any videos that you'd like me to take a look at, please put them in the comments below. And until next time, thank you very much for watching, and adios everyone!
Thanks for watching our video. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed, or leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe for more video updates, or maybe even watch one of our previous videos. Bye bye now.
Okay.